What is up, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of our Kings related podcast, wherever you may be on this history night in Sacramento for all the wrong reasons. But first, thank you as always for joining me for another edition of the show. And if you enjoyed this podcast, make sure you give us a follow over on Apple Podcasts or whatever your favorite podcast app is. And if you're watching on YouTube, please hit that thumbs up, hit the subscribe button, and leave a comment down below. A 37-point loss as the Kings fall to the Orlando Magic 133-94 on this Thursday night at the G1C, and it was history tonight as the Sacramento Kings have set a new franchise record with their 15th straight loss, breaking a tie with the 1959, 1960, and 1971-72 Cincinnati Royals for the longest losing streak in franchise history. What a season this year has been, and it's painful. I mean, like, there's no other way to put it, you know? These are the moments as a fan, you just look and go, wow. You think about some of these teams that we've seen over the years, and there's been plenty of bad teams in Sacramento. And now we're talking Rochester, Kansas City, Omaha, Cincinnati, Sacramento. 15 straight losses. I will say this too. Like, I don't ever want to forget about this season. But after this year, I will be destroying all these archives, videos that I've made of this season, and we are never going back to this season. Never. And folks, we just have 2 more months to watch. 2 more months. Absolutely excited about that. And then we can get on to the NBA draft and all that. But if you want to start off on a good note, the Kings actually had a lead in this game after the first quarter. They were up 28-18 after the first 12 minutes. You had Malik Monk, who led the way with 9 points. Max Raynaud had 6 points. DeRozan and Precious, they each had 4 points after that first quarter. And Sacramento, they held Orlando to 5 of 24 shooting from the field during that first 12 minutes for 20%. And then after that first quarter, it was all Orlando from the second quarter on. In that second quarter, the Orlando Magic scored 46 points in that second quarter. The Kings trailed 64-50 at the half after a horrendous second quarter. Malik Monk led the way with 11. Max had 10, and you had 7 points and 6 rebounds for Keegan Murray, who made his return after the All-Star break. And that is when, at the half, going into half, is when you saw Orlando just starting to heat up going into halftime from the three-point range. Tonight, they set a franchise record. 7 made three-pointers for the Orlando Magic tonight. I don't know what it is with playing Sacramento, but it seems like when they play the Kings, they look like Steph Curry or Reggie Miller on the floor. That's a franchise record for them. 27. And they actually beat the old franchise record of 25 made three-pointers. That also came against the Sacramento Kings. And you just can't make this up, because the Kings got no stops on Orlando in this game. Like, the Orlando Magic are 96 foot 200 from downtown against the Sacramento Kings. That's 48%. And Orlando, like, they did nothing fancy tonight out there on the basketball court. Nothing fancy. Like, there was nothing like schematically where you look at it and went, oh, Orlando is absolutely frying up the Sacramento Kings just because of this crazy exotic scheme. No, the Sacramento Kings couldn't guard the damn ball. They couldn't guard their own damn shadow. I think they were afraid. They would be afraid of their shadow. The Kings, they overhelped and they did not communicate, and their coverage was absolutely soft like a roll of toilet paper. And this Orlando team, like, this is not a good three-point shooting team. It is one of the worst in the league, and you got absolutely destroyed by them downtown. Coming into tonight, the Orlando Magic are 20th in the league in three-point percentage. Just absolutely incredible. Like, and the Kings, again, 15 straight losses and counting. You should just go ahead and make it 16 for their next game on Saturday night. But overall, let's talk about some of the bright spots from this game. Not many after that first quarter, where the Kings actually had the lead. Keegan Murray, who played just in his 20th game of the season, at his first since early January. He didn't miss a step tonight. I thought he played excellent defense. One of the, if only, guys who played defense for this Kings team tonight. I thought he hit the glass, made some buckets for this Sacramento team, on his way to 15 points and 8 rebounds. And we need to see more than just 13 shots from Keegan Murray as we close out these now 25 games left on this season. Malik Monk, who missed the last few games before the All-Star break because of an illness, he was back, and you could feel it because he brought that energy like he always does off the bench. Again, he missed those 3 games heading into the break. And I thought he looked like he had a little bounce to his step tonight in this first game after the break. And his connection with Maxime Raynaud is starting to blossom out there on the basketball floor court. And Monk tonight, 14 points, and he dished out 2 assists in just under 20 minutes in this game. And I would love to see Malik Monk start here down the stretch, because I thought the Kings actually looked good tonight when you had a group of Monk, Keegan, Max, and Devin Carter and Nick Clifford out there on the floor tonight. I thought that group really played well for the Kings tonight. The rookie, Max Raynaud, he's continuing to grow up right in front of our eyes. And Max, he's going to get a lot of the bulk of the minutes for Sacramento with Sabonis out for the rest of the season at that 5 and Dylan Cardwell out for approximately 4 weeks with an ankle injury. And Max clearly did some homework over this All-Star break, and he came back as a passing big man. Raynaud, he finished with 17 points, 13 rebounds, and 4 assists tonight. Really nice work from the second round pick, Maxime, tonight. Precious Achiuwa, who has been a tremendous pickup for Scott Perry and the Sacramento Kings this season when they did pick him up off the streets earlier this season, be it as a starter or off the bench, with a full-grown Paolo Banchero starting at the 4 for Orlando. Precious got the call, and I thought he responded well. 14 points, 8 rebounds, 4 steals, and 2 blocks for Precious in this game. DeRozan, who couldn't get a shot to fall, but that didn't stop him, the vet, from being impactful tonight on the floor. And 13 points, just 3 of 11 shooting from the field, 7 of 8 from the free throw line. He also added 6 assists, 3 rebounds, and just 19 minutes of action. The best number I like to see from DeRozan. Just 19 minutes. Perfect. Russell Westbrook, tough shooting night. Russell didn't do anything else to help this Kings team tonight. 2 of 8 shooting from the field. He was 1 of 6 from the long range tonight. Just 5 points, 1 assist, 0 rebounds for Westbrook, while he turned the ball over 3 times in his 17 minutes of action. But in a game that felt less like a professional basketball contest and more like a 48-minute seance, it was the Orlando Magic who they didn't just beat the Sacramento Kings tonight. They essentially, unofficially deleted them from this tooth. And the Kings absolutely looked awful in this first game back from the All-Star break, and it doesn't get any easier as they now head out on a 5-game road trip. And the Kings were technically in it after that first quarter until they weren't. The Magic closed this game on a 48-13 run, which is a stat usually reserved for varsity versus JV scrimmages in high school or college. So, and the Orlando Magic franchise record, again, they treated the perimeter like a backyard shooting gallery, making those 27 made 3-point attempts. And the Kings are now 12-46 on the season, and it's not going to get any easier for this Kings team, because you travel to Austin, Texas tomorrow, and you got the San Antonio Spurs coming up on Saturday, and then you got the Memphis Grizzlies on Monday, and a back-to-back next Wednesday and Thursday in Houston and Dallas. And then you end that road trip in LA against the Los Angeles Lakers before coming home for 5 games. So where is a win coming for the Kings on that road trip. You could say Memphis, but that's the same Memphis team that beat you in your own building right before the break. Where's the win coming? Let me know. But that will do it for this edition of our Kings related podcast. If you enjoyed this podcast, make sure you give us a follow over on Apple Podcasts or whatever your favorite podcast app is. We are a video podcast on Spotify and on YouTube. So by all means, please catch the video feed. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. But until next time, thank you as always for joining me on the Kings related podcast. And we'll see you Saturday following the Kings and the San Antonio Spurs game for another post-game recap. And as always, go Kings.